Alright, it's time to charge the Nissan Pathfinder. I'm about to turn off the source of vacuum and recharge the system with refrigerant. 2016 Nissan Pathfinder, I think this is video 3. Excuse me, Corona. So we're down to 400 microns, but that's with the vacuum pump on. Of course, it'll come up a little bit when you turn off the vacuum source. But this is a good thing about, again, a 4-port manifold. As I had it hooked up to my refrigerant source, I close off my gauge ports to my service fittings and then vacuum out the hose. Pull your hose down to 100 or 200 microns, so you're only going between the vacuum source and right down your hose, so you have cleaned out your hose. And now you can fill it back, you can close it off, open it up to your refrigerant source, and now you have a hose filled with refrigerant ready to go. Close off your low side gauge. On this particular vehicle, I'm going into the liquid high side. I'm still have the vacuum open, so you would not want to open up the refrigerant right now, because you would have a mess, because that high pressure refrigerant will go into your vacuum pump, possibly damaging it, but also spewing out oil all over the place from your vacuum pump, making a nice mess, especially if it's the one with the port facing straight up. And it's even worse when you're standing over it and you didn't pay attention and you open this up. Guess what happens when you're standing over your vacuum pump and you open up liquid refrigerant into it? Just let your imagination go. It's messy. And have I done it before? Yes, I have done it before. Not perfect. Mistakes have been made in the past. Okay. So I zeroed out my gauge for my scale, and to make sure it's operating, always make sure your scale is operating. These are electronic devices and they do get glitchy sometimes, and some are sensitive to things like fluorescent lights, and LEDs put off a lot of electrical interference around the area. Some ignition systems on cars mess with your Bluetooth and stuff like that, so you have to keep that in mind, what's happening when you get some funny readings. So I set my gauge, I'll hit 165, 70, 170. So I know it's working. When I take it off, does it go back to 0? It goes back to 5, and it's off within 5. Go back on, 165, that's what I was looking for. 0. Now I know it's good to go. We're looking for 880 grams. If it'll focus. Yeah, 880 grams. So now I'm going to turn off my vacuum source and allow the refrigerant to flow, and we're going to watch that get up to 880 or close to. So let's turn off the vacuum source. Okay, turning off the vacuum source. So now the vacuum source is closed, the liquid side is open, the low side has been closed. Now I'm going to open up the liquid coming from the container of liquid, clean, dry refrigerant. We're still at 0. Okay, 1, 2, count how many seconds it takes to put 880 grams in. 1, 2, 3, go. And we're off to the races. We got 100. We got 200. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm starting to taper it down to choke it off. 8. We got 830. We got 845. And we'll leave it right there, because I know I have liquid refrigerant stuck in this line. I'll shut off the high side now and we'll start up the vehicle. Okay, there, ready to start. everything's clear. Nah, that's not gonna fall. Now I have a thoroughly hot vehicle. It's been sitting for about a half hour. So I'm in a 90-degree vehicle. So this is going to definitely going to be under a load. Let's put it under fresh air mode, because right now outside air is cooler than inside air. And let's take a look at it, because it's hot as hell. Let's make sure my meter is on. Is it on? Yes, it's on. Okay. So we just started this up. We have a full system. I know we have 880 grams in there. And that did not fall down. And my intake air is on. So we have basically 90 degrees inside the cabin right now, but I'm feeding in fresh air. I'm in fresh air mode because it is cooler out here than inside the cabin. The cabin is putting under a load, a very high load. Before, if you remember on video number 1, when I was pre-testing the system did not have 880, it had 740 grams in the system. There was like 140 grams low. And we have a really heavy load inside the cabin right now. I think when we were 140 grams low, we were right 150 some PSI on the high side. And actually when I turned off the camera, it was actually hovering off at 164 PSI. And that's where it was staying on the high side, being 140 grams low. So now let's take a look at our software for field piece. It doesn't want to let me use my gloves. This will. Go over to the field piece software, job link, field piece. There we go, job link, field piece. The measurements, Bluetooth must be on. Turn Bluetooth on. Dismiss. And we want to look at our air supply. Okay, what do we have here? Now we know it's hot as hell inside the vehicle, and we still have 49 PSI, 140 grams low, and we got exactly the same measurement. Now on some cars, I could be 140 gram low and still get like 33, 35, 37 degrees out the dash. This vehicle, oh, and of course idle is not the ideal conditions. I forgot to do that to your on idle and off idle. Okay, so 49 degrees out the dash. Let's put it in recycle mode. That's what I totally forgot to show you on the first vehicle. I messed up because I didn't show you off idle, like 1200 RPMs and idle, because these compressors suck at idle usually. 49 degrees. So on recycle or off recycle and taking into outside air, it's rock solid at 49 degrees. Before it dropped, when put in on recycle it dropped. Now it's just rock solid, staying steady. So let's go up a few hundred RPMs and see what happens on this vehicle. And you will notice on some of the variable compressor vehicles, when you're still and you're driving, or when you're not driving and you're still and you raise the RPMs, you will actually see your air out of the dash go up instead of down. So right now we're at roughly 750 RPMs, and let's go up to about 1200 RPMs. 1215, somewhere in there. You can see the RPMs over there. And we're waiting for a change. Are we going to get a change? Now this return air is not correct. because my sensor is, right now I'm in recycle, so I'm taking the air inside the car, and the air has come down in temperature inside the car. I believe it's now cooler inside the car than outside the vehicle. Okay, it looks like this one's not going to do anything. And this is one of the things you got to learn. Different vehicles react differently to the exact same test procedures. Now, if this was a fixed piston system, you would see this temperature out the dash plummet. Okay, so let's go up to 2,000 RPMs. Come on, steady foot. This is a touchy throttle. So now we're at 2,000 RPMs. So the displacement has changed and it's holding steady at this temperature. Even though I have the compressor speed up to 2,000 RPMs. Let's go like we're doing 65 or down the freeway at about 2,500 RPMs. So now we have the compressor speed. We're floating between 25 and almost hitting 3. I'm having a problem holding my foot perfectly steady. There we go, just over 2,500 RPMs, but we're still 47. Now, let's put it on fresh air mode. So now we're gonna take the hot air coming off the engine from the fan. So that 66-degree air that is outside is going through a condenser and it's heating up once. Then it's going through a hot radiator and heating up some more. And then the fan under pressure and velocity is blowing the air over with my hood up, and it's going down and being sucked down in the corral. So let's watch the difference. Let's see, let's press the button. There, now we're gonna go on fresh. Now watch the return air as it sucks more air in past that sensor outside. This is the temperature. This is what happens when air starts being sucked in past. And you can see by the air terminals it went spiked up to 80, went back down, going back up. Now remember, this system was 140 grams low. And the only way you're gonna learn this stuff, that sometimes a little bit of refrigerant charge makes a really big difference on a certain vehicle, and then on another vehicle, it makes very little difference. But the one thing you can be for sure, this is low ambient air conditioning systems. If this car was 140 grams low, and he drives from San Francisco to across the bay in the summer in Livermore, and he comes from 66-degree air and he goes to 98-degree air over there in Livermore, his AC performance out the dash would just suck. My liquid lines aren't hooked up. It's coming down real slowly. Okay, so that's about it. I think I'll do a recording off of this. This goes into the customer's receipt as a finished item. Pressures, temperatures. I didn't put in my other sensors to make sure all the dashes are yet, but I just wanted to make a video. This is a vehicle where 140 grams difference did not make too much of a difference. Good. Let's go look at the pressure. Oh yeah, I don't have it hooked up. God dang it. I didn't connect this one. This is my newer manifold, and I have to hook up my manifold. Let's get my manifold. Tool manager. Oh, it is on my manifold, and it's not showing. Okay, I got a little diagnosis to do there to figure out why my manifold is not showing my connections. All right, field piece software, your tablet, iPhone, Android, hooks up to anyone. Software is free to download and use. Field piece manifold, field piece Bluetooth wireless sensors, and you have a good system to go as a starter. If you have a small shop and you can't afford the really big fancy equipment, this is a good start right here. And Field Piece has many videos on their website how to use their gauges and how to use some of the other options and what they mean. So does Jim Bergman, and so does HVAC School Vortex Bitex by Brian Orb. Has some excellent videos. And for you guys in automotive, there's very few resources out there for you guys to go get training. So go look at some of the stuff from the commercial HVAC from their companies like Field Piece. True Tech Tool has some excellent training videos on their website for True Tech Tools, and look for some of their training videos, and they'll teach you more about the air conditioning systems than most likely what you'll normally find trying to search through automotive avenues. Are very limited on education and training material out there, unfortunately. And then you have MACS, M-A-C-S, worldwide.org, just primarily for automotive only resource. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.